has even had his nipples removed and shaves his eyebrows to, quote, make him feel less human.
Free Talk Live.
The so-called agender alien who is making headlines this last week. This story from the Mirror over in the UK. Gareth Nebula. You think that's got
to be his
real last name? Might live on Earth, but he firmly believes he belongs on another planet. The 33-year-old, who was born a woman but transitioned to become a man when he was 29, now believes he doesn't fit into any human gender and is, in fact, an alien.
More power to her. Him.
Apparently, this person would like to be called they, which I don't understand that at all. Like, you're not more than one person, although I suppose you could say that you have multiple personalities, in which case you should be addressed as they. But wouldn't it be more appropriate for an agender alien than they?
I don't know. For me, like, I feel like I've been stretched to my boundaries when it comes to
what people believe they are.
People transitioning from man to woman and woman to man. I'm willing to go. All right, you want to use that pronoun? Fine, that's okay. But when you start demanding of me new, different pronouns,
right.
Then
to use a plural, basically,
plural on a singular
person.
Man, are you kidding?
I generally don't have a problem with the pronoun thing. The only thing I would ask for is a little bit of lenience when I get it wrong on occasion.
Right. Well, of course, that's
I'm not accustomed to it yet.
I don't have a problem either with he or she, as far as, like, we got Aria DeMezzo in here. She's a sometime co-host here on Free Talk Live, and born a male, still has a penis, identifies as female. I have no problem calling her a she.
Wears a skirt
because she dresses like like one. She looks like a woman at first glance, and so I got no problem with that. Nobody looks like a they.
Well, they had Z for a little bit, right? Z-E.
Well, there's a whole bunch of the people who
I've never called anyone Z, and I would not do that either.
Well,
they would ask you to.
I have met a person who identified as Z.
And what does that mean?
It is a
what does that mean?
It is zit is a non-gender pronoun, right?
Non-gender. So that's a thing,
right? So you're a Z, he's a Z, I'm a Z. We're all Z's together, right? So
how can you be a non-gender? What does that even mean? Did you cut off both genitals?
No.
It's all self-identification anyway.
The pronoun is intended that we stop using gender-based pronouns.
To abolish gender.
To abolish gender in pronouns, if that's what you want to do.
Well, that's a political action, that has nothing to do with who you are, right? That's just you're being political at that point.
I would agree
depending
that
on what they
doesn't have
identify, you just address them as Z if they want, if you're referring to them in the third person.
How about dude?
Sure. If that's what they want.
If that's what they want. And I like that pronoun, by the way, dude. Yeah. my pronoun is dude. I prefer my pronouns to be His Majesty and Your Majesty. But no one ever uses them. Well, often they do. If I wear my crown, they're willing to often call me Your Majesty and those sorts of things. And I return with a quick thank you, loyal subject. But this is... Ultimately, what we can see here is that it's
delusional.
It's attempting to get people to behave in a certain fashion. Now, I will defend this in the sense that Quakers have, which I am a Quaker, long had a tradition of they wouldn't call months by their names because March is named after Mars. They wouldn't call days of the week by their names because Wednesday is named after Woden, a pagan god. So they would say first day, second month, things like that.
Such a boring bunch.
It's right, but
so
sober, like so sober. It's so boring. But I mean, I hate the imperial system, for instance. Would much prefer to we transition over the metric system.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like I don't have my own preferences on how things are done. It's so exhausting.
Well, just when you thought you've heard it all as far as what people can self-identify as, now there's a 33-year-old who says he's an alien.
Fantastic.
A so-called agender alien. So not just an alien, because a normal alien might have a gender.
He's not just a he.
Or a she.
The story
he used to be a she, and now he's an it.
Yeah, right. Well, or they, or whatever.
A they, right.
Can he reproduce on his own as an alien?
Yes, is he asexual or is he autosexual?
Good question. Gareth Nebula is its name. The barbershop receptionist, according to the UK's Mirror, has even had his nipples removed and shaves his eyebrows to, quote, make him feel less human. Gareth, who has named himself... Well, wait a minute. If you still feel kind of human, then that means you don't really feel like an alien, right?
Perhaps he's a hybrid.
Gareth, he's named himself after David Bowie's character in Labyrinth.
Nice.
And a nebula like a space cloud already has 78 stars across his body and hopes to increase that to 333. As he says, quote, 3 has always been my lucky number. Living alone, he now just wants people to accept who he is and admits he'd rather be called thing or it rather than he or she.
There you go. So we got it right.
Yeah, okay. I'm fine with it. That's fine.
It just seems like body modification culture taking it to an unnecessary level.
Yeah, that's kind of used to be a thing and not so much anymore. Remember
You don't think?
the dude that, well, I mean, I'm not talking about large gauge
You mean
earrings.
excessive. You're talking about...
I'm talking about the people that self-identify as snakes and stuff.
Yeah, where they split their tongue.
Splitting the tongue.
Well, and getting the tattoos of reptilian skin all over their body.
Yeah. Those are pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Gareth, who legally changed his name 4 years ago, says, quote, after coming out as transgender and believing I had finally found myself, I realized...
when I couldn't attention whore enough.
I realized I was wrong. I wasn't male or female or even human. He said further, or it said further, I don't think or feel like humans. I really can't
How
explain.
does it know what humans feel like? I don't know what humans
It's vestigial
feel like.
human emotions, Mark.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it to others. I'm simply otherworldly.
Yeah. Aren't you,
He's
though?
far out there.
Continuing, he said, or it said, I didn't feel comfortable as either gender or even anything in between. I know I'm stuck in a human form, and that's how I'm perceived by others. But to me, I'm an alien with no gender. Gareth first felt that he didn't fit in when he was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, which is a rare lifelong condition affecting connective tissue and resulting in stretchy skin with an increased range of joint mobility.
Ooh.
Although he was...
Isn't that what the guy from Spin Doctors had?
The band? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Although he was born with the condition, he wasn't diagnosed until he was 26. Nicknamed Mr. Elastic by his doctors due to his stretchy skin, the condition can cause him chronic pain.
Shoot.
It's one benefit that his skin is wrinkle-free, which makes him appear younger. Gareth, who does not want to disclose his birth name, said, quote, the condition means I can pop my joints out on purpose, which was a fun party trick when I was a kid. Now I realize why I can do that. My pain in my joints got worse as I got older, and I would find it harder to move day to day. It said I go to a chiropractor once every 2 weeks and see a physical therapist once a week, as well as smoking medicinal marijuana for the pain. But there is currently no cure for EDS. And then they go on to talk about, although he says he was once a hyper-feminine female and modeled in his teens, at 29, Gareth decided that he was a trans male. He began taking testosterone injections, started to dress in a masculine way, and even had surgery to remove his breasts. But neither gender seemed to fit his personality, so he decided to do further research into alternative gender identification. He said, quote,
I'll bet that's a fun time on the internet.
What am I?
Yeah.
Uncle Google.
God. Siri.
Tell me who I am.
You're an attention whore.
See, I feel kind of bad.
I do
knowing
feel
that
bad.
He has, the was it EDS?
Right. Has this condition, and that's
But all the
rough.
sympathy goes out the window with everything else.
Yeah. I
It
kind of feel
said,
similarly.
quote, I thought being a trans man would solve all my issues and inner battles with finding out who I was, but I wasn't as happy as I expected to be. I wonder how common that is, among people who...
Apparently very common.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to study it. There was another article that I pulled up where there was
Like universities aren't allowed to study it?
Well, one particular professor at a university wanted to study.
Shot down.
Was shot down by the liberal university culture because it would have too bad of an emotional impact on the study participants.
Or after the fact to tell people, hey, look, looks like the numbers show that people who reassign themselves aren't necessarily any happier
Yeah.
for themselves. Because, hey, guess what? Changing yourself on the outside, whether it be the clothes that you wear or the genitals that that are hanging or not between your legs, probably isn't going to change who you are on the inside, whoever that is, or what you're feeling.
But personal self-discovery is important. Everyone should go through a little bit of that.
Of course.
Maybe to that extent is maybe a little bit extreme.
I recently had green hair.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, I did that because we had raised $36,000.
Right, it wasn't about attention or anything like that. Even though you came up with the idea.
I did come up with the idea. People liked the idea.
And you pretty much knew that it was going to happen.
Actually, I
you
did
couldn't
it.
have known.
I had a time frame, and we didn't hit the time frame.
No, we didn't. You're right.
But
you could have.
I could have said that I didn't want to do it, and I chose to do it. One of the reasons I chose to do it, among other reasons, like on one hand, I want my donors to be happy.
Yeah.
And that it's amusing, it's something to make fun of, and everybody likes. It's a stunt, and radio is
it's
replete
rewarding failure, Mark,
with stunts. But on the other hand, I'm like, this seems like something I could do, and it'd be kind of fun for a little while. And I went to a couple of conventions, and at conventions, it's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
People pay attention to the green hair. They want to talk.
Right.
Somebody with green hair is unlikely to judge them for who they are, is what I determined. But, wandering around, when I wasn't at conventions, I realized that some people kind of thought, is this some washed up rock star that I should know?
Former member of Green Day.
Right. Blink-182, is that you? Right? I don't know what they were thinking exactly, but I did have more than one person say, are you in a rock band that I should know or something?
Okay.
And, I told them that I was on the radio, was the answer that I would give them. And so they're like, oh, a disc jockey. Oh, no wonder I don't know who the hell you are.
Right.
But I didn't give them any more information. Obviously, I don't spin discs for a living. Mm-hmm. And what I can say is that if you want a little extra attention in your life, there's ways to go about getting it, and I suspect what you're dealing with here is a person who just kept piling more and more things to get attention on themselves. Now, there are plenty of people who transition male to female and female to male or whatever because they feel they have to. And I feel for them because they have to deal with people like this who are just, mentally ill, basically. And it's difficult to know, what's what. And I think it's probably true that there's a lot of them that aren't any happier after they're done. And it's sad. I wish people were happy. Yeah. I wish they could find a way to be happy. But I don't suspect this is the root.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same. Right, you've got to change. You've got to change whatever it is that's wrong at the root in order for that to manifest down. You don't get to be happy by moving physically to a new location. Changing your scenery or changing the, parts on your body. I don't think. That's not what I think. Now, maybe there's somebody out there who's like, well, yeah, it worked for me. I've been great ever since I changed to a man. Maybe those people do exist.
I'm sure they do exist. And I think that changing your location can absolutely be a thing. Remember, don't forget, seasonal affective disorder is real and diagnosed. Yeah. So, there's something about finding your happiness within, but there's also something about doing the thing that makes you happy at the same time.
For sure.
I think it starts with defining it from within, though. When you start to find it from within, then you start to do the things that make you happy.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. He said, or she or it said, quote, I thought being a trans man would solve all my issues, as I said. And further quote, I felt like I was trying to fit into someone else's box. I didn't want to be constrained. That's when I discovered what agender was. It continued saying, quote, I'd always been obsessed.
Agender is not asexual.
Correct. Agender is someone who identifies as genderless, basically.
Asexual is a person who just doesn't want to have sex.
Saying further, quote, I'd always been obsessed with aliens, too, and what it means to be extraterrestrial, so the idea of being an agender alien fit perfectly as an identity for me.
Free Talk Live. Listen live 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, or grab the podcast. It's all at freetalklive.com.